Welcome, welcome, welcome. We made it. We are tonight's entertainment. As you can see, it is the usual suspects, Mo Schefter, Vic Jr., Germ So True. We got good energy tonight. We got a decent game that could turn into a pretty good one. It's two bad teams could make a good fight. That's just sometimes how it goes. But we got good energy on this. We're going to do some week 8 recap or week 9 recap. Sorry. We're going to do some week 9 recaps. So a lot of interesting things. Had a lot of things happen that was just like, ew, really? And then we're going to discuss a little bit of the future with these two teams playing tonight and a couple other teams in the AFC. We're going to start off by doing a quick reading of Midnight Views. It publishes every Sunday at midnight, or I guess Monday morning, however you want to look at it. It is the quickest recap you will find on the internet. And then we're going to toss it to Jerm and Vic, and they're going to react and give us their biggest takeaways from Midnight Views. So with all, let's just get rolling. Vikings versus Lions, 34-20. As we said on the live, Matt Stafford is not the problem, but he's not the solution either. Chiefs versus Panthers, 33-31. That was a great test for the champions, and they pulled it off. Ravens versus Colts. In the end, Baltimore's beef outlasted the Colts' beef. Bills versus Seahawks. Sometimes you got to give credit where credit is so overdue. Josh Allen simply outplayed Russell Wilson, and that's just the bottom line of the situation. Titans versus Bears. Listen, Chicago, everybody in that organization, not named Allen Robinson or playing defense, needs to go yesterday. If they play with replacement players, if they opt out as a staff, label, and crew for the rest of the 2020 season, it is no problem by me, because everybody got to go if you're not Allen Robinson or on that defense, because you're wasting a defense that's pretty damn talented with Mac, Roquan, and Kyle Fuller and Eddie Jackson as the stars, but as two of the most underappreciated defensive players, Akeem Hicks and Danny Trevathan. That is a spectacular defense. Where was I at? Okay.
The Bears.
Yeah, yep. Titans versus Bears, talked about that. Broncos versus Falcons. Woo, Atlanta. Deep breath. You almost lost another one. Texans versus Jaguars. Texans almost lost to Jake Luton or Jack Luton or something Luton. I know he almost looted in a riot. I know that, but they came up just one throw short of a 2-point conversion. Texans is just ugh. Giants versus FC Washington. That's the only team that the New York Football Giants will beat in the 2020 regular season, the Washington football team. And they beat them twice. So you know what that means. 2-14, second overall pick. They on their way. Raiders versus Chargers. Chargers celebrated an L, okay? That's where we've come with the Los Angeles Chargers. They are celebrating losses at this point. It is horrible. Dolphins versus Cardinals. Somehow the Miami Dolphins have won 2 games with Tua Tagovailoa. How does that happen? Shout out Brian Flores. Steelers versus Cowboys. Man, look, Ben loves drama. And it was nothing but drama yesterday, but they survived. And then that last Sunday night game, I don't know who played. I just know it was a glitch in the Matrix last night. There was a full moon. There was a Mercury and a retro and all that. And it just, whatever, okay? Whatever. Burn the tape. Germ, what you got on this? What did you see yesterday?
First and foremost, shouts out to my guys at the Studio Expo. I'm in Detroit, Michigan, Studio Expo.
Yeah.
As you see here behind me,
Yeah.
this will be a place where we will be doing some things.
Yeah.
That's why we germ worldwide today. I'm worldwide like my big brother Les. This is what we do. We're worldwide with it. So shouts out to them. Make sure y'all follow the Facebook and the IG page, Studio Expo, Detroit, Michigan. But with that being said, look, man, hey, this is a dope ass week of football. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we had like 5 games that were decided by 3 points or less. That's all you can ask for in football games, is that every team had a chance. Besides the Buccaneers, SHing in the bed, which is fine. It happens. And I think this is what they needed at this time of the year. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. now it's time for Bruce Arians to look himself in the mirror and say,
Yeah.
what can I do better? Because you've been telling me what everybody else hasn't been doing well. Now it's time for you and that coaching staff to look yourselves in the mirror and get that stuff together. Next, real simply put, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, the name of the game is just win, baby. Just win. And that's all you got to do. Keep winning, baby. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to pass it to Vic, there will be no more Lamar Jackson talk from Germ for the rest of the season. I am opting out of Lamar Jackson talk. The reason why is because I have nothing further to say about the player. The player every week proves more of the things that I say about him in particular. But I have to give a shout out to the Ravens as a staff, record label, and a crew. Because if you ain't down with the whole crew, then F you too, because that's just how it go.
Ooh.
That Ravens defense comes up with play after play after play, whether it be getting the team off the field, forcing a fumble when it looks like it's gonna go down 14-0. They did a lot. They did a lot, and they shut that Colts team down in the second half. Shouts out to them. I don't like all of the calls that they get, but hey, look, it is what it is. She said, "Is you is or is you ain't? Go give me a ride." He said, "That's just what it is." So with that being said, hey Vic, I'm gonna pass it to you. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, y'all pretty much covered everything, man. Just some of the receivers I was happy to see perform. Jerry Jeudy for Denver. They had a nice little picture there of the 3 Alabama receivers with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy. He had an excellent game, best game of his career so far. So, got a little bit of a future, there with the receiving core for Denver. Hopefully the quarterback can keep up. And DJ Chark, who was one of Jerm's favorite guys. I mean, Litton was able to get him the ball pretty well. So we're going to have to take a look at how that quarterback looks because, like Mo, you talked about a couple weeks ago, when it comes to Minshew, it looks like they're gonna try to replace him, and they're not gonna they don't want. It just seems like they don't want him to be that guy moving forward. So if this kid got something to show, obviously he's gonna have to show more games of it, more film of it. But DJ Chark was pretty impressive again yesterday. And then last game, like you said, just a little glitch. One of those probably like when 1999 was changing to the year 2000. They said something was supposed to happen when the ball dropped, all that. I think that's what happened 20 years later.
All we know is the chosen one better get his troops ready to roll because last night was not it. All right. And last night to me, and I'm not trying to get into narratives on this, right? I'm gonna just give you my opinion. And the fellas know what's always been my opinion on this. Brady's a GOAT, Bill's a GOAT, but the GOATness and the dominance and the aura was just bigger because of the two of them together on the same team for 20 years. Because what you're seeing is, let's just kill the narratives right here. What you're seeing is Bill has had a few years where the roster just doesn't measure up. For one reason or another. You could say COVID, you could say you could say whatever you want to say. This is not the first time that the Patriots have had a 53-man roster that wasn't very good. But obviously they had the ultimate man who could mask it, right? So that's why they eventually getting blown out in KC when they were in a fight for the first half. That's why they can't beat Buffalo. That's why they're losing to all these teams now that truthfully they would have never lost to had that man been at the helm. And then last night, look, man, 38-3 does not happen with Bill and Brady. So like Jerm talked about, Bruce has got to figure out exactly how I got to get this team fully prepared to roll and execute every week with the same level of intensity and increasing it even higher because this is a team that's playing for a Super Bowl. And we never quite got into all the details of a Super Bowl culture when we talked about New England because they were just doing it for so long. But you got to have a certain level of intensity every week, no matter the opponent, like Kansas City does, like the Patriots used to do, like the Steelers do for the most part, because they even fall for traps. That's just the nature of the beast. But last night was just not it. They got to figure out exactly who they are, and they got to stick to it because it was just bad. As far as Lamar, just real quick, as far as Lamar, I mean, look, we know who he is. Like this was bound to happen. This was bound to happen, and it's only going to increase. It's only going to get to a point where, like we said, the same media who built him up is going to drag him down, and we'll be here not rolling with the narratives. That's where you find us. Believe me on that. It just is what it is. And then Jake Luton, any given Sunday, baby. That's the definition of it. Any given Sunday. I think that's what yesterday was prime example of any given Sunday, with the way the first set of games went, with the way Jake Luton performed, with the way 38-3 happened, with the way the Cowboys just came out and nearly beat Pittsburgh. I mean, this is why they play the game, because truly, you just never know what's going to happen. And I thought in the end, if that game wasn't Sunday night, we would have looked back on this Sunday and been like, wow, what a great week of football.
Absolutely. Like I said, you can't ask for much more. 3 points or less, 5 games. That means we had 60 minutes of good football in quite a few games. And then even for the 38-3 game, we just seen a team that they just couldn't get it right. That's just, you had the remote in your hand and you had a remote in your hand and you just can't change the channel. And you got to get up and turn it manually or go get the batteries. They just need new batteries right now. That's pretty much what it is. Best way to say it.
A couple of things that I saw. First of all, to have 5 carries in the game and set the record of the lowest amount of carries was tragic, especially one of them being a kneel down at the end of the game. So you had a situation there where you only carried the ball 4 times. There's a couple things I need him to do. First and foremost, Marpet was not playing yesterday. So as you can see, that left guard position was very important because, first of all, the pressure was coming from the left side at a tremendous rate. And the left tackle, who I'm drawing a blank, Donovan Smith just could not get it together without his guy there on the right side. And then can we get over Ronald Jones already? Can we get over Ronald Jones already? Please. Leonard Fournette is the better running back, is the better blocker, and is also the better pass catcher. Okay, that's one thing that was against him coming out of college. Can he catch the football? Because he wasn't used in that type of role, plays and stuff like that, and that type of role. But as you can see, he catches the ball very smoothly. He's got some soft hands for a big dude. So can we put Ronald Jones aside now, please? Can we put him on the bench? Give my guy, 30 touches a game?
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's what they're gonna have to do. Like when it gets down to it and they're getting in late November, December, January, they can't say, hey, we still believe in Ronald Jones. No, like this is your best players have to play. And I think again, there's a certain level of patience that has to come with this Buccaneers team because of everything that's been happening and because of how new some of these pieces are, from Fournette, now AB, now Gronk, now no longer OJ Howard. So there's constant adjustments. And again, it's not an excuse because they're still going to win football games. You know what I mean? But last night was just inexcusable. Now, I don't expect them to lose another game for a while. I think, what are they at now?
6-3.
6-3. Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule. I think KC is the next game you circle. Yeah. And see how that one goes for them. But they gotta find that championship culture that they expected to begin to incorporate, to mold with Tom Brady as their quarterback. So we'll see. Jeremy, anything you go ahead?
April is in here. Shout out to her. She said the AB curse is alive.
All right.
Listen, y'all know how I feel about that. I feel like as great as he is, I'm just not big in collecting so much mouth to feed. Brady, that's something that it's obvious that Brady was pushing. And I mean, we'll see how that works out, man. I know these guys have been hurt, but he's a quarterback that can make without. Okay, he's shown it before. So,
I mean, look, somebody said he needs to go back to ordering receivers off Wish because ever since he started using Amazon Prime, it's that in itself. I mean, that's a really good joke, but in itself, like, there's truth in that. Like, there's some adjustments that's got to be made. And I said this to somebody earlier this week. The hardest thing that's going to happen in this offense is for Tom Brady to decide where he's going to throw it on each play. Because when they took the field on the first snap, I'm looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute. You telling me you got Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski, and AB on the same team? Like, forget Evans and Godwin and Brady. The fact that just those three guys, if you go back to 2016, 2015, just the fact that those three guys are on the same team together is insane. And truthfully, if it was just those three guys, that'd be good enough. But now you still have the guys who was there first, Evans, Godwin, Scotty Miller, and the mismatches that he can bring. You know, Tyler Johnson and the possession receiver that he's becoming. I mean, low key, from 20 to 20, Chris Godwin and Tyler Johnson, those are who he trusts most. That's before AB came, because now it's like AB's about to get a lot more snaps than Bruce Arians anticipated, because I think you can clearly see that's where the trust lies most. And it's crazy because they've only played together football count days like 20 days, but yet the chemistry is just insane outside of the couple miscommunications they had. They'll be all right. They'll be all right. It was just bad.
Of course it will.
It was just bad. And now Seattle, let's move on to Seattle real quick. Look, man, like, again, we bring in the film tonight. Russ is excellent. He's great. He's in the conversation for the best quarterback in the world. But just because of who those two guys are that are still the best quarterbacks in the world, it's just tough to put him in that category when there's just bad plays that he makes. There's certain weaknesses that he has that just continue to show up on film. And we keep saying offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. This offensive line has come a long way from 2016, 2017. Don't forget they got Dwayne Brown there. Okay, there's a lot of quarterbacks that would kill to have. Hey, Tom Brady would kill to have Dwayne Brown. Okay, there's times where you see him. He's got the time. It's just for whatever reason. Maybe it's the baseball. Maybe it's the size. I don't know what it is exactly where he just doesn't throw it sometimes. And that's a dangerous thing because what if that shows up January, 3rd and 8? What if that shows up in the red zone in a pivotal game, 3rd and goal? You know, and it has. And again, the closer we get to January, once we really get to January, you look at the landscape of the NFC playoffs, the Saints, the Packers, the Buccaneers. Those are just the first three guys. Those are just the first three teams I mentioned without mentioning some of the underdog teams. There's some speed on those defensive lines. There's some speed among those linebackers. There's some really good hybrid safeties there. So there's guys available who can limit the strengths of what Russell Wilson can do. And that's a scary thing moving forward. Now, just to be completely fair, I got to get in the lab on this defense, and I will have a full report of that shortly, because I don't understand how there's so many good players playing bad collective defensive football. It doesn't make sense to me. Don't like Trey Flowers and Shaquille Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
They're not bad players. They're not great corners. They're not this bad. Quandre Diggs, he's not this bad. Like, those guys are not this bad, bro. There's just things that are just happening that I'm not sure what. So I'm gonna turn off the lights, turn on the film, shut my ears, widen my eyes, and I'll get back to y'all on it. Fellas, anything on that game?
I just want to say this. Russ's issue is I think that's where the size shows up the most when he gets in the pocket. And it's just because he looks like a dude in the middle of Manhattan. That's the best way to say it. He looks like he's standing in the middle of Manhattan trying to throw over a tower. And that's just what it looks like, bro. I mean, made in Manhattan, Russ in Manhattan is what we'll call it. And that's what the issue is. Because you'll notice when he tries to step up, to get the arm trajectory that he normally has, he's not able to get it because the pocket is enclosed or it's engulfing him. So instead, the bigger quarterbacks are able to be here, and they're able to with the C, with that
Yes.
C,
Yes.
with that C.
Hit him
And
with
then-
the C, Germ.
Hit him with that C. So what happens
Oh,
is,
Vic is fuming right now.
hey, he's not even fuming because he's actually liking this analysis. That's why he's smiling. But the principle is, with him, he's not able to because the ball kind of comes up, out, and then up, and then it's like a shot put motion. So it actually makes it harder for him to do that. That's just the lab work there. That doesn't mean he's not good, and that's not going to take anything away from him. That's just a deficiency that his height. I mean, what are we going to do? Put some heels on him? It's nothing we can do. We just got to take him for just take me as I am, or I've not.
Jukebox Germ.
Oh, there you go. But go ahead, Vic.
No, I mean y'all covered it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I taught y'all well. Y'all understand the C motion on the passenger. My children, I am happy. But,
Dude,
Yeah, that's crazy.
no, I mean, listen, the defense is not playing well. I feel like, again, some of the pressure that is put on him since that Legion of Doom has gone, the Marshawn Lynch days are gone.
Mhm.
I just think there's been a lot more pressure on Russ as the quarterback. He has basically lived up to it or taken the challenge. And yeah, I mean, there's days where it's he's not looking good. I think he has earned those days, just like Brady. So.
Okay.
But there is issues with seeing over the line. It's the same issues that Drew Brees has at times. It's the same issues that Kyler and Baker are going to have at times too. So, they got to get a better defense there. They got to get a better defense there. The offensive line is blocking better. Okay, that's the film study. That's what the film is saying. These guys are blocking better. There's days that he's going to need to play better too. Like you said, the NFC is looking fierce.
It is.
So the Saints,
it certainly
even
is.
though we're projecting the Saints to go down, they just shoot up like Disney stock did today. So
Yeah.
that's just how it is right now in the NFC and the Seahawks, and we'll see for the next game.
Hey, listen. We will find out. We will find out just how much that defense can get, because that was a defense that I sort of hyped up leading up to the season. Again, there's good players on there. So I just, I got to see why they're not playing very well. Let's move on to something else before we dive into this game, because there's not much we want to say about this game, honestly. It's the Jets. A tweet that I retweeted at Views22 on Twitter, at Views22 on Twitter. It's from Field Yates from ESPN. Mike Tomlin has now started his head coaching career with 14 straight non-losing seasons. No coach has ever had a longer streak to begin his career. The Steelers are 8-0 for the first time ever, and the NFL's only undefeated team. Appreciate Mike Tomlin. Field, you just covered every blade of grass with that story, son. Because Mike Tomlin, somebody that we have been highly critical of in the past,
Especially last year.
shout out Jay Ham, because he asked the question that shut down my whole maybe Mike Tomlin should be fired theory. He asked, who they gonna replace him with? And I shut my mouth because I don't know. Mike Tomlin is not a guy that you replace. That's just the bottom line. There's certain guys you just don't replace. You wait for them to say, hey, I need a new place. I need to retire, whatever it is. Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid for sure now. Sean Payton is another guy that's in there. Those are just the 5 guys I can name off the top of my head. I can't think of anybody else right now, but those are guys that you just don't fire. And fellas, I mean, I'll let you guys. Vic, we'll start with you. Pittsburgh.
It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing that when we debate about the quarterbacks is who are you going to replace them? You want to get rid of them. We want to get rid of Matt Ryan. We want to get rid of Matt Stafford. But who do you have to replace them? So it's the same thing how I feel about the coaching in the NFL. I think it's tragic. I think the talent when it comes to the coaching is pretty low. So Mike Tomlin, who are you going to replace him with? The Steelers have had a great record of finding some really good head coaches. You know, they had Cowher, they had Tomlin now, and I forget the names of the guys before, but
it's been Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, and the great late Chuck Noll. Those are the last. Those are the only 3 coaches in Steelers history, and that is a long ass history.
That's crazy. So I mean, you know, is it one of those things where they just have good luck? Whatever it is, at the end of the day, you got to replace it Mike Tomlin, and that's not going to be easy to do. You know what I mean? So he's just the same thing what I said about Russ and Brady. They're allowed to have some bad days. They're allowed to have some bad seasons because they have shown that over time, over a long period of time, they've done a good job. You know, so
absolutely.
You could definitely put Tomlin in that category.
I mean, Jerm,
I'm gonna be straight to the point. Last year, the way they came on at the end of the year with the 4th string quarterback, the trade for Minka Fitzpatrick, the way that they went up and was aggressive and grabbed Devin Bush the year before, the things that they have done have translated to wins. So at the end of the day, there is nothing really that can be said. Mike Tomlin has solidified himself, in my opinion, as a top 5 coach in this game. Not even really just in the game, bro, in the world. Because I can name, but he's better than most majority of the basketball coaches too. Yeah. There's only one good basketball coach really these days as well. So with that being said, it's about one. It's about one. We ain't gonna talk about that. It's about one.
All right, we'll leave that for 94 feet of light.
Yeah, we'll 94. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about that later with 94. But with that being said, man, Mike Tomlin, man, I just want to give you a shout out, man, because the things that you have done, you have converted a steel curtain defense into a modern day defense. This defense. And listen, and all I need to say now is 39. 30 effing 9. 30 effing 9. That dude right there is the key to the success of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I said to Mo and Vic 3 years ago, I said, the Steelers won't be SH until they get a guy that can play single high. They found themselves not only a guy who can play single high, but a guy who can make every play on the football field.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
He can do it all.
Mike Tomlin, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trav, one of the godfathers of our movement. He said, I know who can replace Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, and Matt Stafford. His name is Jesus. Yeah, bro. All
right, so now you're on your base. Now that man on his base.
Yeah,
man, welcome back.
That is it.
I know you like that.
Hey, listen, I think we did a podcast some time ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and we talked about purpose, about these teams and their purpose. I think MJ was even on that podcast when we were on Anchor. Shout out to Anchor, who we will return to sometime in the near future. We talked about purpose and how a lot of these teams never really had purpose to what they were doing, who they were drafting, who they were signing, who they were developing, right? Who they were investing in. Pittsburgh, again, you got to give Tomlin credit. They have had a vision, a purpose, and a sense of measurement, so to say, to everything they wanted to do. They went first and they started drafting heavy on the defensive line. Then they went to the edge guys. Then they went inside, even though it was a controversial pick in Ryan Shazier. They made the best out of him until that tragic end to his career. And shout out to him because he's doing much better in life, and that's what matters most. But imagine they still had to go out now after doing all this and thinking they had everything in place. Now they got to replace the centerpiece of their whole defense. So what they do, they invested high. They traded up. They got Devin Bush. 6 months later, they said, hey, get rid of that draft pick. There's nobody coming up in next year's draft better than number 39 who was in Dade County. And they got him. And that defense with Baby Watt leading the way and Cam Hayward as the anchor, shout out Anchor, has just excelled. And they are, listen, if there is one team that's a threat to Kansas City, it is undoubtedly Pittsburgh. Any objections?
No.
Absolutely not. That pressure, the edge pressure is going to give Kansas City a run for their money.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes hasn't seen athletes quite like that. I'm just gonna say that those are two different dudes on the outside. And when I say two different dudes, Mahomes is exceptional in a lot of different ways. He's an exceptional human being. But when it comes down to this, TJ and Bud Dupree are exceptional at getting pressure.
Mhm.
I seen a couple plays that you're gonna see where Bud is getting chipped by three different people, and he still finds a way to get to the quarterback. And we're not talking about him coming from the edge. This is coming from the meat. Somebody chopping at his knee, somebody hitting him high, and he finds a way to still get to Lamar Jackson and get a strip. In the red zone, this is a crucial point in the game here.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to know, man, that Pittsburgh defense is for real. They are the real deal, and they are for real. And that is shouts out to Soul Man, late great Bernie Mac and Samuel L. Jackson. That's just what that is. But I just want y'all to know the dog food is under the bed.
Shout out to Tanya, man. She happy because we
You
talking
the dog,
about
mother.
Shout out to Tanya because she happy we talking about the Steelers and the Alabama Crimson Tide in the same conversation. So
Oh wow.
those are both.
Oh
those
yeah,
are
we
both
making
her
Tanya's
teams.
night now. That wasn't even planned. But you know what, Tanya? We always thinking of you here at the scene. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Always on the scene.
That's right. That's right. One of the first ladies of the scene.
Mhm.
Hey, y'all want to talk about this game? This is such a good football conversation, man. I feel like we could just
Absolutely.
keep it going, but
We
we're gonna
can talk-
leave it. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave
Let's
it. 'Cause
dive
the
into
game-
something real quick, interesting.
Go ahead.
Real quick, before we get into the predictions, because
Go
this is
ahead,
going to
yeah.
take 1 second.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask both of y'all this. We got the Patriots and we got the Jets here tonight.
Mhm.
Both of these teams are on the top 4 list
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah.
most salary cap room.
Mhm.
With that being said, what are 2 moves that you think that these 2 teams should make? I'll start. Number 1 for New England, you have to find a way to get a quarterback.
Mhm.
I'm saying find a way to get a quarterback because that's going to be the most important part moving forward for your franchise. The defense, as long as you got Bill, you'll be able to scheme. You'll be able to figure some things out. I'm going to give Bill his just due when it comes down to that. There's just things that you need. But number 2, you need a damn pass rush for once. It's 2020, and we still think we can get matchup pressure all the time. Hey, Bill, stop being stubborn. Stop being stubborn, Bill. That's enough. That is enough. You like Jennifer Lopez? Enough. Now, with that being said, the Jets. 2 things for the Jets. Really simple. I don't think Sam Darnold is the problem necessarily, all with that franchise. I'm going to say this. I'm going to be nice. But he's not the answer either. He is not their guy. That he's not going to turn water into wine. He is not the guy that's going to lead them to the promised land. And he is not the guy who I think needs to be there at the helm of that franchise in the next 10 years. Why do I say that? It's just certain inconsistencies. But what I do think is, I do think he has value. The value that I think he has is maybe for a team that maybe like the Jags, who may get an opportunity out of one of these good quarterbacks, but they may not take it. I don't know what the Jags are going to do. But there are some teams that are going to be around that are going to be late. I mean, hell, the Bears could take him, and he'd be better for the Bears. I don't know what the Bears are doing at quarterback, but whatever.
Would
But
you
I
give up a
digress.
2nd-round pick for Sam Darnold?
Yes. If I'm the Bears, am I the Bears?
You're the
Yes.
Bears. You're the Jaguars.
Yes. Because it's because
One more.
Go ahead.
You're the Patriots.
No, because of the value of the 2nd-round pick for the
Okay.
Patriots
Mhm.
is a little different for them.
Okay.
We're talking about a defense that has a closing window with Chicago. That
Sure.
window is going to be closing in the next 2 to
Quickly.
3 years.
Oh,
So
2
at
years, max.
least you can maximize at least a couple years with a rookie contract
Mhm.
and see what you have.
Sure.
Because you don't have it with Mitch and you don't have it with Foles. We just know that.
Right.
And then the second thing, and most importantly, we gotta find a way to move him. But the other thing is, I just think they got so many holes. I think they kind of have to trade back and build the team. I think you have to build a team. You have to pick a side of the football. You have to build it. So if you're gonna go 85 Bears way, bro, go 85 Bears way. Do not go quarterback and get him killed or get him with post-traumatic stress syndrome because you just can't protect him or and
Right.
all these other things. That's my 2 things. I'm gonna pass it to you, Mo. Then we go to Vic.
So I'm gonna just say one thing quick. I got a theory about what the Patriots are gonna do.
Mhm.
Because Bill has a great football mind, and I would like to think I have a great football mind. So
Yes,
what I'm
you
about
do.
to say, thank you, Jeremy, is what I would do
Speak your piece, Pastor.
if I was Bill. So we have seen, with the exception of Brady and Manning, we have seen that in order to win a Super Bowl, your quarterback has to be on a rookie deal. And Drew Brees, obviously. Your quarterback has to be on a rookie deal, right? That's just what we've seen so far. Patrick Mahomes might join that category in a few years, but we'll see. If I'm Bill, I know I can get at least 1-2 more years out of Cam at a reduced value. And the reality is, out of all these second option veteran quarterbacks, I'm still going to take Cam. Maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick, like just being completely real.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam is going to be either number 1 or number 2 on that list. And you're never going to get, who would have ever thought Cam Newton would come at this value, at this rate? It's not going to be 1 million next year, that's for sure. But it's still not going to be 15, 16, 17, God forbid,
If you
25.
can get 8, if you can get them for 8 to 10, bro, you won.
Hey, Jerm, just to be nice, you get him for 12, you won. You know? But
Bro,
I think that's what it's going to be at. I think they will find a way, because Bill is Bill, to say, hey, and Cam is going to be appreciative of the fact that somebody gave him an opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
And because we know there's a whole misconception of who Bill Belichick is and who the media portrays Belichick to be. There's a huge difference as far as how much he cares for his players, so to say. I think if I'm Belichick, I'm rolling with Cam as much as I can. And I'm building this defense and I'm building this offensive line. And when I feel all I'm missing is a quarterback, I'm drafting that quarterback. But I'm not drafting a quarterback just to be 8-8 for the next 6-7 years.
Mediocrity.
You understand what I'm saying? Right.
Mediocrity. Yes.
At the end of the day, like you got to either be crappy or great or risking it all. Those are the only 3 ways you can be successful and maximize the value. Be crappy, be great, or risk it all. You can't be in the middle, because if you're in the middle, you're just going to stay there. And so if I'm Belichick, I'm waiting. I'm building this team from the ground up because, hey, let's be real. That's how he built the first dynasty. Vrabel, Brewski, Teddy. That defensive line that was absolutely spectacular. That offensive line that may have had a Hall of Fame or 2 on there.
Matt Light.
Right. Dan Copen, Stephen Neal. Yeah, they had some guys on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I'm Bill, it's not Trevor Lawrence, it's not Justin Fields, it's not the Alabama kid. For right now, it's Cam Newton, and then I'll get a quarterback. Go ahead, Vic. I gotta plug my laptop in soon.
I mean, listen, bro. You guys know I'm a draft guy, and that's where if one of these 5 quarterbacks that is projected first round picks, if you look at the film, if you study him, go meet him, and do the whole process that you need to do. If he's one of your guys, you gotta take him. You can still have Cam run it for the next 2 years. You know what I mean? And then see what happens from there. You still could build a team. So, again, it's whatever the film tells you, whatever you're comfortable with at that position. Other than that, I mean, y'all covered everything, man. Like Sam Darnold, I don't expect nothing higher from him as well, like Jerm said. So is it time to move on from him? I don't know. You're working on the offensive line. You drafted your left tackle of the future in Mackie Becton. So let's see what they go from here on, as well. But I would stay with Darnold. I would stay with Darnold and see what happens.
So you just stay with Darnold, build a championship caliber defense, and try to see if you can continue to build pieces.
I think that.
I'm not against it. I just you know how you get that gumbo and you just don't know what's missing. That's Darnold as a prospect, and that's just the Jets as a franchise. I don't know what's missing.
This draft apparently is going to be beef heavy, both sides. A few receivers here and there, and the quarterbacks. So you're going to have options at every part of that offense there, basically.
Well, they don't need beef on defense. They could use any help or beef on offense. And these are the type of drafts that Bill can come in and clean up. These are the type of drafts that certain teams should be able to come in and make something happen because a lot of these teams have already drafted the premium beef. They've already drafted the premium beef. They're just wasting it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
We'll do another show later in the week, guys, because you know what?
There's a lot. Hey, listen.
This is football, though, baby.
This is what happens when we come with no notes. We just talk. And when we just talk, greatness comes out. That's just the reality. We haven't talked all day.
Yep. Nope.
We literally clicked record. We came on like 5 minutes. We talked about some stuff, and then we went live. Let's just get it over with this game, y'all, because I know not too many people are eager to watch it. Over under is 42. The Patriots are 9.5-point favorites. Real simple for me. I'm hoping for a good game because, damn it, the Buccaneers and Saints was just an absolute disappointment. The fact that game was a blowout. So give me the Patriots 28-24. No Stephon Gilmore tonight. Germ.
Is this where the Jets get a win? It's so hard for me to say because I actually believe that the Jets are going to end up winning a game or two. I just don't know if will the real Scam Newton please stand up?
Hey, go ahead. When he done?
Give me, you know what? Give me Cam and the Patriots tonight.
Okay.
Give me 17-16.
Okay. Hey, you know how we talked about that C?
Mm-hmm.
Cam has like an E. Vic, go ahead.
I mean, listen, I'm actually excited to see this game, and I think it's because I like to see the Patriots losing because of the Bill. You know, I know. My bad. I know you still got. I know you still got love for them, but you know, I'm gonna go with the Jets. Since y'all picked the Patriots, I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Mo, don't do that because now the Jets is gonna win.
Now the Jets is gonna win. Oh shit!
Every time you do that, the Jets win.
Oh, now the Jets gonna win, bro.
All right.
I don't know what happened, but Cam and that E that however he throws, I think the Jets have enough defense for it. So I'm actually excited to watch this game. I don't know why, but
it's football, baby. That's just what it is.
It's football.
Hey, I mean,
I want to see a good game. Damn it! Yesterday was
that was
terrible. Yesterday was terrible.
With that being said, hey, shouts out to everybody in the comments.
Yes.
Hey, April, you are the next in line to be on the Views from the 22 pregame show. I'm gonna need for you. I'm gonna need for you.
Whatever you need.
Yeah, get whatever you need.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're there.
Jersey,
you are next in line. I want you to make sure you good. We're gonna find whatever game that's the Raiders got. That's a big game. Matter of fact, next week is the Chiefs. So you'll see.
Chiefs and what?
So you want to bring her on for a loss?
Oh,
nice.
Well, considering that the Chiefs are the only loss on the Chiefs record is from the Raiders.
That ain't happening again.
But you know, never know with the way that Josh Jacobs.
Hey, April, come ready.
Listen,
April,
come ready. If you haven't picked the Chiefs yet in your league, in your survival pools, pick them. The Raiders are not beating the Chiefs twice in 1 year.
Where's it
not
at?
happening.
Are they going to Vegas?
I don't care where they're playing. They could play in Idaho.
Oh, she said it's Denver. What y'all talking about, man? Get y'all facts right, man.
Man,
there you go. They're gonna beat Denver. That's for sure.
I don't know. I thought they played the
They're
Chiefs.
gonna beat them.
I thought next week was the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, just tell her to be prepared.
Yo,
April, be prepared. We're gonna grill you with some questions.
They're kicking off the ball right now.
Okay, run that.
They're kicking off the ball right now. They're kicking off the ball. Shout out to everybody in the comments. April, Trav, Joe Maverick says we need more of Germ serenading us. Jukebox Germ. Vic in the comments for some reason. Tanya, as always, appreciate you.
Like the video. Like the video.
Dennis, going on, Dennis? Good to see you. Storms, Siobhan in there, Matt in there. We got a few people in there. As always, it's good to see those comments fill up. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate the support dearly. Enjoy the games. We will see y'all later this week. Don't forget, 94 Feet of Life, big show, Friday afternoon. Make sure you be there. Big show. Take us home, True.
2-2.
Queefs.
Enjoy the game.